All right, well, we're going to graph these, and there's multiple ways that you can graph a line, but I'm going to do something that you should be able to do by now, which is to take an equation, 2y equals x minus 2, and write it in slope-intercept form. And slope-intercept form says y equals, right? Y equals mx plus b. So what I want to do is I want to divide both sides by 2. I want to essentially divide every term by 2. And what I get is y equals 1/2 x minus 1. That's one of the equations I'm going to graph. And we're going to do the same thing for the other one. 3y equals 3/2 x minus, sorry about that, x minus 3. And I want to divide everything by 3 equals 3/2 x divided by 3. And I'll talk about that in a second. Okay, 3y divided by 3 is just y. This is saying, just to be clear on this, this says, how many halves do you have? You have 3 halves. So if you divide that by 3, dividing 3 things, this is how many there are. There's 3 of them. This is what they are. They are halves. They're pieces of a certain size. So this 3 gets divided by 3 to become 1. So you get 1/2 x instead of 3/2 x. Minus 3 divided by 3 is 1. And you'll notice that it's exactly the same line. So I'm going to graph this one in red. I'm going to graph this one in blue. Okay, the first one in red, I'm going to go down to -1, put a point, and then I'm going to rise 1, run 2, rise 1, run 2, and I'm going to do that with my line tool. I'm going to make that line, and it'll look like this. Okay, I'm just going to grab this end to straighten it out, make sure it's lined up. Now, I'm going to do the same thing in blue. I'm going to put my intercept at -1. Oops. Put my intercept at -1. I'm going to rise 1, run 2, and you're seeing that we're making the exact same points. And when I take my line tool and I make that line, we get 2 lines right on top of each other, meaning how many places do they intersect? Meaning how many solutions are there? They intersect at every point. There's an infinite number of places that they point, that they intersect. So we could say infinite solutions. We're done. So the idea here is that if you get exactly the same line, it's going to be infinite solutions. If you get 2 lines with the same slope, but they're crossing the y-axis at different places, then they're going to be parallel and they will not meet, so there'll be no solution. Every other option is just they cross it in some way. They have different slopes right away. If they have different slopes, they're just going to cross once and there'll be one solution.